Hi there, well, let me start by saying today I'm 50, as you may have seen in the paper or heard on the radio, so there's no rest for the wicked. We're out there still doing our video messages and the likes, and I'll be in Parliament this afternoon, batting off the opposition, who I'm sure won't be cutting me any slack just because it's my birthday. It's been a fairly challenging week or so in the world's financial markets. Today we've seen a big sell-off in the US stock exchanges, and that reflects the fact that Standard & Poor's took the decision over the weekend to downgrade the United States. I think it's interesting to see what Standard & Poor's is actually saying. They're not of the view that the US can't achieve the $2.1 trillion worth of cuts that the Congress and the Senate signed up to late last week. What they're saying is they're not doing enough. In fact, they're arguing they need to do twice as much. Now, if you look at the situation that the US is facing, we got a similar message from Standard & Poor's that they were looking very closely at what New Zealand was doing, and that's why in our budgets, particularly budget 2010 and 2011, we've been very careful about what we've done. I think we've set a pathway which the rating agencies have been supportive of. It's one that sees us back into surplus within about 2 to 3 years, one that sees our debt levels top out under 30% of GDP, and one that delivers much greater efficiency and robustness on the New Zealand economy. And I think all of those things put New Zealand in much better shape than would otherwise be the case. You may remember at the time when we talked about this, that our political opponents argued that we shouldn't worry about the rating agencies. Well, I think the United States is seeing that the rating agencies are incredibly powerful, and in the modern world they will act. Some argue that they were very slow when it came to the global financial crisis, and they didn't act fast enough around financial institutions, which ultimately nearly dragged the world onto its knees. And so now they're being more proactive, and I think just shows you how important it is that we have a strong, robust set of financial accounts. As I say, New Zealand's not immune to what's happening around the world. Of course, we trade with the rest of the world, and if the world slows down, then that has an impact on us. But for the most part, we're in much better shape than many other countries. We've diversified our trading base, with Australia being our largest market and China being number 2. And we still have flexibility in our economy that a lot of other countries don't have. In theory, there is room for the Reserve Bank to cut interest rates if necessary. Our exchange rate is still relatively high, so again, the opportunity for that to ease back if we see global commodity prices coming back. So, while I think we need to stay vigilant and continue to make sure that we're careful, I do think the actions that we've taken and the time that we've been in government have set us up very well. And if I can say so, by Labour's own admission, they would be running a lot more debt than us for at least the next decade. I don't think that's a policy that New Zealand can afford to follow. I think this is not the time that New Zealand would be wanting to increase its overall level of debt. In a time where the world is really starting to punish countries that have too much debt. And that's again the reason why we've been following the plan that we have, one that gets us back into surplus, one that ensures we have a very strong, robust economy. This weekend we have the National Party Conference. We're also celebrating our 75th year as the formation of the National Party. I'm sure it'll be a good weekend. We will have some policy announcements over the weekend, an opportunity to talk about some of the issues we want to campaign on when we go to the electorate for election 2011. We've got a lot of work to do. No one's taking anything for granted. We're obviously gratified by the poll results that we see consistently across all polling companies at the moment. But as we know, there's only one poll that matters, and that's the one on election day. And so my MPs and candidates will be working very hard as we go into the election campaign to ensure that we get the best possible result and the biggest party vote that we can. Finally, it was great to see the All Blacks in such tremendous form on Saturday night, and that all of the activities around Eden Park work so well. It's going to be a tremendous stadium and a tremendous place to be hosting the final, quarters and semis of the Rugby World Cup. I also had the privilege of opening the stadium in Dunedin, the Forsyth Bar Stadium, on Friday. What a magnificent stadium that is, and what a great addition it is for the people of Dunedin. So 30 odd days to go before Rugby World Cup kicks off. It's going to be a tremendous event. I think it'll really unify the country, and we just hope those mighty All Blacks can bring home the cup.